Hello guys, good day and welcome once again to another lesson. In this lesson, please, before you proceed with this lesson, make sure you have watched the previous one, and then you get yourself that will get you ready for this particular lesson. Now, we're going to be seeing right now the communication and, and network. Very important because in our last lesson we were able to see how the system work in terms of storage, right? You store every element of a computer have that sort of a storage, but the storage can be primary or secondary. So we saw the secondary aspect of our storage. Now we're seeing communication and networks. Okay. Now, by the time you are done with this lesson, you should be able to master these lesson outcomes. These lesson outcomes are there to try you to help you to evaluate yourself, to reassess yourself on how you have mastered this particular chapter, this particular lesson. Very important. So pay attention to each one of them from explaining what connectivity, the wireless revolution, and the communication system, down to the last part of this lesson objective, lesson outcomes. Okay, which is on the explaining organization issues relating to internet technologies and network security. Now, we live in a truly connected society, true or false. You can't argue with that because today every one of us depend spend much of our life, much of our time on daily basis on different telecommunication tool, social media, and all the rest of them. That is to show the great importance we have placed on communication, right? And now we can be able in our world today, news, information travel very fast, and the amount of information that's been shared over online is far, far, far more than what it has been in the years past, right? And that's to show, and the flow of information from one end of the world to another is very fast, and the access of this information is very speed and fast. So we are connected using social media, using all these and technologies than ever before. So increased connectivity potentially means increased connectivity may have a potential increase in productivity, yes or no, especially in business and also in education. Like now, what generative AI can also do for us today, also because of what internet, right? And then we have access to a number of resources, like what you're watching right now. Before, it's not that is not possible, but today now you can be able to have access to any amount of resources because of the internet. So the connectivity brought us by the internet makes it much more that we can do more than what we could have done in a time past. Okay, so you learn more about the concept of connectivity and the impact on a part of the wireless in this particular chapter. Very important, and how it has also changed, and how you can also tap in as a student in making your learning and work when as a graduate very much more productive. Communication, and what is this communication, right? Computer communication is a process of sharing data, programs, and information between two or more computers. The exchange of information between two computers or more is called communication. The same way, the exchange of information between you and the next person and more people is also communication, right? So communication is not only for the computers to share resources, it also happens for you as an end user to share resources, right? And that can be done through various applications, which through various means like your email, texting, video conferencing, electronic commerce, social media, short SMSs, and all the rest of them. These are all forms through which communication can take place. Connectivity as a whole, connectivity uses computer networks to link people. Like you can see on the screen, people are smiling, people are sharing, people are laughing, people are sharing one computer through their headphone, listen to one sound and all the rest of them. So it connects your personal computers to other computers and resources on the internet or the network. That is what connectivity. So connectivity allows you, enables us as an end user for us to connect among ourselves. So it enables technology devices to connect among themselves, right? Which through the wireless revolution today, we have a single most this is a single most dramatic change in the connectivity world. That now we don't need cables again for us to get access to internet connectivity, but which was not the case in decades before now. So allows connectivity wireless connectivity allows connectivity with everyone, whether close, far, anytime. Wireless connectivity today now that is becoming connectivity is becoming a norm that we have Wi-Fi. What happened because of COVID? At houses, you can see Wi-Fi gadget being connected to houses on top of roof of the people. And now people have access to internet 24/7, right? That now, even when they are not at home, they have it as they go on, data and everything. So, and that makes us to be more connected before than than ever. However, this revolution is just the beginning. Why? Because a lot of things are happening today. We have been talking about 3G, 5G, and today there is 10G, which amplify the whole connectivity aspect. That access to information becomes download and everything, streaming and everything becomes much more effective. That today, pay TVs, decoders are becoming old-fashioned that you can literally sit and watch anything you want to watch over the internet, whether paid or non-paid, because of what? Connectivity, right? That our TVs are now becoming smart televisions, right? That now we can watch your YouTube on your television, whether internet enabled one or not. There are different processes on how that can happen. And now the online content is becoming a norm. It's now increasing day by day because people right now, because of what connect. So connectivity is the backbone of all these things we are seeing, Wi-Fi and all the rest of them. So for that to happen, there is communication system that makes this thing possible. So electronic system that transmit data from one location to another is called what? A communication system. As you can see on the screen, in your picture, you have a sending device and you have your receiving device. In between the sending and the receiving device, there are processes, there are devices that are providing essential role to make this impossible. So when you send a message from your end as an end user, what happened throughout the process? You have your connecting device that ensure that the message that you send from that device takes to the next level, which is what through that enables the network to take place. Your routers and everything that is there, your Wi-Fi modem and all those modems are there to ensure that happens. And in between that, between the two computers, there is what is called communication channel, which is what the process of breaking down that very message into smaller package. Let's say you send a textbook of 1,000 pages, right? That's a message, right? That textbook, that very document of one of that volume of 1 gig, of 10 gig, does not just transport itself in that thing. It's being partitioned into smaller messages. And that process is called what? A packet. By the time it gets to the end where it's gonna of the receiver, it reassembles itself and it appears as a whole 10 gig document message. But when it through the process of it passing, it's being broken down into packets. Okay, the element of basic element of communication, and we have four kinds. You have the sender, you have the communication devices, you have your data transmission specialist, you have your communication channel. Now, the sending and the receiving device is a computer or specialized communication device that enables you to send. That's your cell phone, that's your smartphone. It's a typical example of your sending or receiving device. The communication, the connection device, interface between the sending and the receiving device, right? Which is the network device, which in this case right now, all those your modems and all the rest of them that can help you to do that. That provide access to that network, that internet that makes it possible. Data transmission specialists, rules and protocols that coordinates the device. And then you have your communication channel, the carrier of that message. Okay, so in details, communication channels carries the data from point A, from one computer to another. This is essential element of every communication system. That is for a system to function effectively, for a communication for message to be carried, there is a communication channel, which is what that enables that. And in this case, right now, physical connectivity through cable, through wire, or wireless communication. That is what it enables this communication to take place. Okay, so we have also the physical connection, which is in between a physical connection in between sending and receiving device. In this case, right now we have our different kinds of medium, like your telephone, line, intranet cables, as you can see on the screen. So in this case, right now we have twisted cable. We have our coaxial cable, and then we have our fiber optic cable. These are different kinds of physical connection that enables your communication channel to work. Without this, the possibility is not gonna happen except through wireless. Okay. Okay, and then wireless communication as well is another medium through which we can wireless connection. Wireless connection is another means through which we can transmit. We can connect our communication channel. Wireless means what? There is no cable. In the other one, we have different kinds of cables, right? We have our coaxial cable, fiber optic, and all the rest of them. But in this case, there is no wire. It goes through the air. You don't need any solid substance to connect. The computer gets connected to the system automatically without using a cable. And that is where the world is currently in right now. Okay, primary wireless technologies. There are different kinds of them. We have your Bluetooth, short range wireless communication, which radio communication standard between two devices or more, right? Have your Wi-Fi wireless fidelity, which that is the meaning of what? Wi-Fi means wireless fidelity, which uses high frequency radio to connect communication devices, channels. Have your microwave, uses high frequency radio wave signals to connect. You also have your you have your your Wi Max, right, which is an extended part of your Wi-Fi, which is a new standard that uses microwave to extend Wi-Fi range. So, cellular, have your satellite with satellite, which they use the satellite over the orbit, over the orbit to communicate. You have your infrared, you have your GPS. So these are different kinds of wireless technology that doesn't use cable, right? And that is it. I hope you're following. So now let's proceed. So communication device needs to convert data, digital signals into analog signals, which are modem modulator and demodulator, right? You have your modem modulator and demodulator. Modulation is a process of converting digital signal to analog signal. Demodulation is process of what? Converting analog to what? Digital signal. However, the speed in which the modem transfers data is usually very important. And that is what the transfer rate. Types of modem. We have your DSL, which is what? Digital subscriber line. High speed telephone line. The one that your Telcom and everything provide is your typical example of your what? Your DSL. They also provide cable, right? Which uses Ecosu cables, and you have your wireless, which uses your W1. As you can see on the screen. And then these are different ways through which you can have access to what? To your internet connection. Types of signals, you have your analog, you have your digital. Your analog works in this way, right? The frequency works, which allows you also to do what? That is, which allows you to do what? To connect to your, which provide a signal process of your network. And the transfer rate can be in billions per second, billions and trillions per second, depending on the size of the network. And the connection services, these are different kinds of providers that provides this connection for you. You have your Chelsea, Telcon, Vodacom, MTN, and all the rest of them. So your your digital subscriber lines uses a telephone line, right? To provide that for individual users. Your cables use existing telephone cables to provide you access to the internet, to the network. The satellite connection uses almost everything to do that, and on and on and on. Data transmission. In a communication environment, there is element of transmission, and that is what? Data transmission, which is the factor that affect, and it has the number of factors that affect how your transmission works. You have your bandwidth, is how much information can move across the communication channel in a given amount of time. So the bandwidth, how big your bandwidth, you talk about the bandwidth. During the COVID, that becomes a buzzword, right? That the government should release there's a lack of bandwidth and everything, and because of the accelerated level of expanded bandwidth, that's why you can see even little companies coming on board right now providing these services, your Wi-Fi and all the rest of them. And now it's measure the amount of communication line channels, right? that can take place at every given time. It measures in width or the capacity of the communication line, which can be your voice band, right? Which your telephone, your standard telephone line, a medium band, which is high speed lease line. Have your broadband, which involves your cables, your satellite connection and all the rest of them, which also your baseband, which covers the aspect individual computer can connect to itself on a close range, making this communication work for you in a mobile internet. As you can see, you have your you have your device attached to your computer, your 4G device just your computer. What that enables you to have access to your internet services. So this is a typical example of your communication device, right? That enables you to get access to the internet. And for that to happen, you need to attach this device on your computer for you to have access to the internet. Now, another one there, the picture you're seeing there is the Wi-Fi, which also you don't need this kind of device, right? Automatically, you get connected to this Wi-Fi through the Wi-Fi channel. You get access to the internet. So it can be through this device, your cable attached to the computer, or wireless, which is through Wi-Fi. In this case, right, there are protocols, there are standard laid down rules on how communication should take place between devices, which can be hypertext transfer protocol, which is widely used to protect the transfer of sensitive information data across the board. So meaning what, that the data you send across the internet is not being compromised. And for that to happen, there are rules that it needs to follow. And that rule is happen through your what? The hyperlink transfer protocol that enable your access, your information over the internet to be protected. You have your transmission control protocol and internet protocol. Most widely used protocol that ensure that computer is identified with a unique IP, which is Internet Protocol address. That now that instead of, remember, we're living everything that happens to internet is very wide, is very huge. In order for there to be rules of engagement, processes to happen so that people does not do as they like. Every computer connected to the internet have this IP address that if something happened, you can know where it happened, where that incident happened. You can trace it back to where it started and everything. So for that to happen, there is that protocol IP address that is there, internet protocol that is there to mark every computer connected to the internet. My computer have it, your own have it. All the computers on the internet has this IP address attached to them for identification purposes. Also, you have a domain DNS, domain name service, also which also enables the identification. You have your packagization, which information broken down into smaller pieces, like I talked about before, package. So through that process, there is a level of what? A coordination and reassembling of what happened over the internet, right? In this communication space, the network also comes in, and a network is a communication system that connects two or more computers, right? And that is a network, so that they can be able to share what? Resources, information, materials among themselves. So in a communication environment, a network assists these devices, two or more devices, to do what? To exchange information. And there are specialized terms used in the network environment. You have your NOT, which are what? Any device connected to the what? To the internet. So every computer on the network is called a node, right? You have your client node that requires that requests and uses resources from another node. So your computer is a node, mine is a node. When my computer seeks information from yours, and that is what that process is what is mine is a client requesting an information from another node. Have a server, which is a node that share resources with other nodes. Now, typical example, when you go to the computer lab, right? All those computers that you see there, they all have access to one server. And that becomes a what? Another node that where all of them are hosted. And then you have your directory server, specialized server that manages what? That manages resources. Have your host computer system that can be accessed all over the network. So among all those computers, there is another computer called a host through which other computer that can have access to the resources within it. Have your router, which is what a node that forwards or routes data packet. That is a gateway through which resources are shared across other uh, nodes. You have your switch, a central node that coordinates the flow of data. Network interface card, expansion card that connects to the computer to the network. And then you have a network operator that controls activities of all the computer on the network. So these are different terms, specialized terms in a computer network. Now, for this network to perform, networks are arranged in a particular way, or there are kinds of networks. We have a LAN, you have your home, you have your WAN LAN, you have your PAN, MAN, and WAN. These are different kinds of network in the computer, in the network environment. What is your LAN? Local area network, which is located within a close proximity. You have your home, which is bigger than your disk, which is much more expanded within instead of a proximity in an apartment. Let's say in a complex, in an apartment, the same network they are sharing, they can share one network among themselves. Have your WAN, which is wireless local area network, or communication passes through access point. Have your PEN, which is personal area network, connected digital, so through your personal device assistant. Your WAN, which is a network used within metropolitan city area, which is like your within 100 miles, right? Your wide, which is wide area network within a country or worldwide coverage. So these are different kinds of network that it can see in a given environment, in a given city, in a given country. And this network have what is called architecture, how the network is arranged. How is this network arranged? Types of network, how they are arranged. So we have a network protocol, which is a physical arrangement of network, and the strategy, how the information and resources are shared. These are two different important components of network architecture. That for a network to exist, there's element of what, how they arrange, and there's only also element of what, how the arrangement, how they share the information resources among themselves. One of them, network protocol, is what? One of the network topologies, sorry. Network topology is how physical network is arranged. Sorry. And we have different kinds of network topology. And one of them is ring network topology. Now, in this case, right, you can see how the computers are arranged. Because each computer is connected directly to another. and then through which they are connected to a central network. Meaning what that what if there is a breakdown in one computer, it's bound to affect another because the network flows in a ring format, in a ring movement. You have your star, you have your central switch where they are connected. Remember those terms. Have your switch, right? In this switch, each of the nodes, the computer network is connected centrally to the one switch. In this case, that when a particular node is broken, it's not going to affect others. You have your tree format that they have been arranged in hierarchical order. However, that they are all connected through a sub node, right? You can see the first hierarchical arrangement, the first computer, second computer, and within it can be broken down, broken down, broken down. It also have its own disadvantage. Now, but in this case right now, the only thing that can make all the nodes to be affected is when you have it on the main sub-coordinated computer. But if not, if there is a breakdown, disconnection on the one on the left, the one on the right will be functional. If there's disconnection on the one on the left, on the right, the one on the left will be functional, right? But if there is any interruption on the one on the central node, everything will be up, the whole network will be affected. You have your mesh. This topology does not use a specific physical layout, but it requires that each node have more than one connection, more than one connection to the node, to other node. In this case, you can see it in a wireless environment, that we are not attached to one particular node. We have a decentralized node that one computer have access to more than one node. In this way, when there is a breakdown in one, the computer still function, the network still function. So strategy, which is what um um in this strategy right now, network strategy, you find out that there is a coordination between what you have your server, you have your peer-to-peer network strategy. Like here, you can see it here. It says the network is how information are being shared, right, in the network. So that sharing of resources can be done from a client or server network. In this case right now, there is a central computer coordinating the supply service to other nodes, right? Which is now the server being the access point through which other computers are deriving their access. Or you have what is called peer-to-peer. And this becoming a buzzword today in a crypto world. It's a peer-to-peer a network, right? Where all nodes have equal authority. It can act as both the client or the server. So in this case right now, there is no central point. Everyone in the network are independent. However, they all depend on each other for them to function as a network, to share resources. Now, organizational network, which are internet technology support effect communication within or more than within or between organization, right? In this case, right now, it can be through internet or intranet. If it's internet, like now between our campuses, our campuses have the same network, right? Which they can be able to share across themselves, which can be true within the intranet is network within the private network within the organization, which is not out, it's not known to the outside. It's not being shared, cannot be shared by outside of that organization of the same organization. Also, they can also have their own private intranet, which are also what that is within that very particular organization. So they're able to share the resources within themselves. Network security. commonly used technology to ensure your security the over the network, whether it be for private network or organizational network. And one of them is firewall, which is a hardware and a software that control access to the network. A proxy server provide bypass through access, right? Pass through that before you have access to the full network of the organization. Everything is done, everything must pass through the firewall. Any suspected network or access can be blocked. So it provide it provide it prevents, it protects the network against threats. Okay, you have an intruder detection system, works with firewall to protect organizational network, analyze all incoming and outgoing network traffic. That, for example, when email is being sent from external network, it monitors it. It looks at it to know this email, this network that is coming, this email, is it gonna be a threat or not? You have a visual private network. It creates a secure private network connection between your computer and the organization. See the graphic to the next slide for demonstration purpose. For example, today it allows it allows the computer to be protected within this organization. And then also VPN also can also be used in a network whereby to situate a given network as if it belongs to a given environment. For example, through this you can be able to in the internet right now have access to a particular site that is not um local. And then what it will do, that it will situate your network to be in that environment. Let's say in Britain right now, you have access to a website that is only for British, that is localized to the British people environment. But when you use this kind of private network, it makes as if your network exists in that particular environment. And this is how um both your intranet, your extranet, your your proxy servers and everything, how they function within the network. Okay. Now, on the part of making IT work for you, in order to make IT work for you through this very lesson, this very chapter, it can prepare one to be a network administrator with the functional, with the primary function to be to maintain the network hardware and software, be able to diagnose a problem, repair problems, and all the rest of them. Okay, which can be a degree in IT, information system, and computer science, and computer technology, and all the rest of them. Yeah. When we look into the future, what we see? We see telepresence, right? Seek to create illusion that you are actually at a remote location. By early implementing mainly focus on extension of video conferencing. Today, we have telemedicine and all the rest of them. Remember that every chapter have its own open-ended question to test your ability, to test your knowledge of a particular chapter. In this case, right now, here are different kinds of questions that will test your knowledge. Okay, go through them, master them, to know how far you have mastered this lesson. Thank you. Do you have any question? Please contact me if you have any question. See you in the next